Hello. In this video, I wanted to talk about using master pathways in conjunction with the Badgr plugin for Canvas to make a three-tiered reward system. We talked about this on Monday, and it's a pretty complex structure. So I thought I'd go through step by step how to create it. Essentially, what we talked about, a lot of this will go to the teacher's discretion. For some subjects, it might be feasible to do a blind pretest. For some subjects, it might be better to present the whole of the lesson and then have a quiz. This will branch the student off into three tiers based on their performance and recognizing their performance. If they do poorly, they'll go to the bronze level, do some remedial work. If they score a passing grade, they will go to the silver level, have an assignment, and be allowed to proceed to the next course module. Optionally, they can do the gold assignment as well if they choose to, but they are not required to in order to proceed to the next course module. Because of the nature of Badgr, Badgr doesn't allow rewarding rewards for percentages, different rewards for different percentages scored on a quiz, and they don't support awarding badges for completing a quiz or assignment. And so the only thing Badgr supports is giving an award based on completion of a module. So in order to give students a badge for the bronze level, the silver level, and the gold level, we need to actually make 4 separate modules that we will treat as a virtual module. So instead of 30 modules in this course, there will now be 120 modules in this course. I diagram this not only for my sake, but also it might be a good idea, at least in the first lesson or two, to explain this to your students so they aren't confused when they see 120 empty modules in their course. This can help them to understand the structure that these modules will appear as they move through the course based on their performance. So how do we construct this? There are 6 steps. The first step is to turn on the Mastery Pass feature. You can go do this by going to Settings, Feature Options, and then turn on Mastery Pass. This is assuming it's already been turned on by your course administrator. For our design group, it has been. You can flip that on. The second step is to make 4 separate modules. I'm going to go back home and add 3 new modules here. I would be careful with the naming of these modules because, again, it is not possible to hide these modules by default. The student will see empty modules as we can only hide the content of the modules. So in order to avoid confusion, I would use a consistent naming convention. I'm going to call this Module 1A, Bronze Path. Pathway, we'll say. Add another module, Module 1B, Silver Pathway. Add a 4th module, Module 1C, Gold Pathway. That is step 2. All right, bronze, silver, gold. Step 3 is to add the content that you want to these modules. I've already prepared all of the content ahead of time to save some time. Bronze, what content you can add, what content can you make conditional or hide by default. You can only hide assignments, quizzes, and pages. These are the only things that you can make conditional and hidden by default. If you want a file, if you want a discussion board, if you want an external URL, you're going to want to embed those either within a page or an assignment. For example, you could give a student 1 point for contributing to a discussion on an assignment page using the discussion feature. I'm going to add some pages here. This is the bronze remedial work. For silver, I have both some silver remedial work on a page as well as an assignment, example silver assignment. And for gold, I have a gold assignment. These can be different levels on Bloom's taxonomy, as we talked about on Monday, or you may want to do just some remedial assignment or a longer video, a longer explanation in the bronze pathway before directing the student to the main assignment, which is on the silver pathway. That again is really up to the teacher's discretion. The important thing is that we have 3 pathways per module. All right. Next, I'm going to want to add a branched quizzing. I'm going to add this to the main module after the main lesson. I'm going to add a quiz. I call this the branching quiz. And the score on this quiz will determine whether the student proceeds to the bronze, silver, or gold pathway. I'm also going to want to add a quiz to the bronze pathway to reassess the student after they've completed their assignments. At this point, you could add the original branching quiz again and enable it multiple attempts, enable the student to make multiple attempts, but this has the potential to be abused, as a student could just retake the original quiz over and over until they unlocked all modules and were able to proceed without doing any of the remedial work, which they should do. So it is better to make a new quiz for the bronze level. All right, we have the remedial work. We have at least one branched quiz. If they do well on this quiz, they can continue to the silver pathway or the gold pathway, depending on their performance. If you want them to do silver and gold, you could add another quiz here, which would then direct them to the gold pathway. But I'm not going to make it a requirement to complete silver at this time. That is step 3. Step 4, while we're adding things to these pathways, we're going to want to go ahead and add the badges. So to do that, I'm going to go down here to badges. This is assuming I have the Badgr LTI turned on. We do. And you can see the different modules of the course here. For the bronze pathway, I'm going to want to award bronze. We have these badges already in our issuer, but you're going to want to make your own badges so that we're not awarding the same badges. You're going to want to make a badge customized to your course and module so the student can keep track of where they got these badges. Now that we've assigned silver, bronze, gold, we're going to go back home and we're going to add them to the conditional modules here. And to do that, I'm going to click Add an external URL. This, again, you cannot make an external URL hidden. So this will be visible. I'm going to indent it 1 level. No, not external URL. My apologies. Do not put external URL. External tool. Badgr United States. Leave this URL alone, but you can change this to claim your badge. And indent 1 level. if you wish. You don't add a badge to the initial module. You only add badges to the conditional modules here. Claim your badge. Silver pathway. It's already configured here. Same as I did before. Claim your badge. Gold pathway. Claim your badge. All right, that is step 4. Actually, while we're doing step 4, we're going to want to set the conditions. What does it mean to complete a module? So we want to set conditions for each of these branched pathways. We'll click on the ellipsis here, edit, add a requirement. For the bronze, I'm going to want the requirements for me. This is up to the teacher again. I'm going to set it to the bronze quiz. You've got to score at least 2 points to get out of bronze level and quit repeating it on a loop. Now we have a condition and I can receive a badge knowing that I've met that condition. Add a condition for silver, edit, add a requirement. Silver, I'm just going to make it, they have to view the item, have to view both items in the course. Example, silver assignment, view, update module. Gold requirements, edit, add a requirement. They simply must view the item. You can make these requirements whatever you want, but you must have a requirement in order to receive a badge. All right, that's step number 4. Step number 5 then is to make all of this content and the conditional modules, make it all invisible, make it all conditional. To do that, we're going to go to assignments. Everything which can be made conditional will appear here. That is, again, quizzes, pages, and assignments. These can all be made conditional. The original branching quiz, we don't want to make that conditional. We want the student to see that all the time. But what we do want to make sure of, click on the name here, we want to make sure the student can only take this quiz one time so they don't cheat the system again. Oops. All right, make sure allow multiple attempts is unselected. Otherwise, the student could breeze through the module without doing any of the, participating with any of the pathways. And you want this assigned to everyone. It is by default. Save. All right, that is the original branching quiz. Going to go back to assignments now. Now, how do I make a page conditional? I don't click on this ellipsis. I always want to do that. You want to click on the name. And you're going to edit it. And make sure that you have selected Allow in Mastery Paths. That's all that's required to make a page conditional. I'm going to go back to assignments. This is a page, they've already been made conditional. Here is an assignment. How do I make an assignment conditional? Click on the name. Click edit. This is an empty assignment, for example. You're going to see mastery paths up here, but you're not going to want to mess with that right now. You're instead going to want to go down, and by default, this will be set to everyone. And you're going to want to exit everyone and instead select mastery paths. You're telling the system that you only want this assignment to become visible if the student unlocks the mastery path associated with it. Hit save. It's going to give you a warning saying essentially that this item may or may not appear. We know that. That's fine. We're going to proceed. Going to go back to assignments. Now here is a conditional quiz. We do want this quiz to be hidden by default. So I'm going to click on the name, edit, For the bronze quiz, I'm going to go ahead and allow multiple attempts. I want the student to keep taking this quiz until they're able to pass. They need to get at a bronze level at some point. And again, by default, it will be everyone. I'll deselect everyone and hit Mastery Pass. I only want this quiz to appear if the user has unlocked it. Save. OK to the warning. And that is step 5, the configuration of quizzes, as well as making all of the assignments, pages, and quizzes conditional, except for the original branching quiz. Step 6 is to set up the mastery pass. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to take this original branching quiz, click on the ellipsis, and say I want it to be part of a mastery pass configuration. It's going to take me right to this and allow me to select my points. If they score 0 points, they go down this path, 2 points down this path, 3 points down this path. You can set points or ranges. I only have 3 points in this quiz, so I'm not going to bother with ranges. If they get 0 points, they're going to go down the bronze. They're going to do the bronze remedial work and the bronze quiz. You can select up to 3 things here. If that's not enough room for you, you can group assignments into an assignment group and add a whole assignment group as an item or a pathway. And you can see here it says they must complete the bronze quiz and the bronze remedial assignment. If I want, I can move these around as I did, or I can toggle them, either the bronze remedial assignment or the bronze quiz. But for our case, we're going to want it to be both. They must take the quiz in order to proceed to the next module, so it's not optional. Option 2, you could select silver, and then for option 3, select gold. But that's going to make it one way or another. The student cannot choose to go down either path. So what I'm going to do instead is, if they get 2 points, enough to send them down the silver path, they can do the silver assignment, example silver assignment, or they can do the gold. And I'm going to make this, they must do the silver assignment and the second silver assignment, or they can do the gold. And I'm going to do the same for number 3. This way, if they score a passing grade or an excellent grade, they can choose whether to do the passing assignment or the higher level assignment. Silver, gold, silver. Add. They must do silver. Move this here. Come on. A little tricky to move these around, evidently. All right. Do silver assignment 1, silver assignment 2, or they can proceed to the gold module. Okay. That is a configuration which will require them to do remedial work at bronze and give them the ability to choose silver or gold if they get a passing score. I'm going to save this. Go back to home. All right, now we have that original mastery path established. In order to unlock the silver pathway once they've completed the bronze, I'm going to want to add mastery path to this quiz as well. Click the ellipsis again, mastery paths. And they score 0 points, they're going to go right back to bronze. and they're going to see go through the material again until they can pass it. Score 2 points. Again, they can choose to do silver. Let's see. I guess the order that I select this matters. Silver, silver, or gold. Yes. They get 3. Silver, silver, or gold. All right. And hit save. Bypass the warning. Go back home. All right. That is step number 6. Now, the minimum structure is in place. If you wanted to, you could add a quiz at the end of the silver pathway, quiz at the end of the gold pathway, and if you wished, you could have the student, if they chose to do the silver assignment and then open up the gold assignment, you could have another level of mastery path to unlock the gold, but I'm not going to mess with that right now. Step 7, very important step, make sure everything is published. Publish the module. And we'll automatically publish the badge as well. Publish the module. And I believe we are now ready to see what this looks like for a student. I'm going to go to Student View. Again, badges cannot be hidden. They don't fall under the category of something that can be hidden. So this is what this course is going to look like to the student. They'll see all of the content in the main module, and then they'll see 3 modules which are empty except for the badge, but they cannot claim the badge until they've completed the material within these modules. So what I'm going to do is click the branching quiz. I'm going to read the lesson, go through the series of lessons or whatever. Then at the end of all of that, I'm going to take the quiz. I'm going to score 1 point. Parrots and snakes are the same animal. Kangaroo can fly. Snake can slither. Submit quiz. It should be 1 point. All right. And now I can click next. Since there's only 1 attempt allowed, I'll be able to click next. And as you can see, it's going to take me right to the bronze pathway here. It automatically unlocks the bronze pathway, and it automatically allows me to proceed straight there. Very, very smooth workflow in that way. I'm going to go back home just so you can see that the bronze pathway has now been unlocked fully. I have the main module as well as the bronze module. I'm going to work my way through the bronze pathway, do all the assignments, etc., and then I'm going to take the bronze level quiz. And I need to score at least 2 points, remember, to get out of bronze, so hopefully I can do that. Frog can jump, that's true. An eagle can slither, no. An elephant can hop. False. I'm going to go ahead and get all 3 right in order to show that whether I get 2 or 3 right at this time, my options will be the same. The next will take me to the next mastery path. You can see here now it gives me the option. I've scored a high enough grade that I can proceed to do the original planned silver assignment and pass through to the next module. Or, if I want an extra challenge, I can choose to do the gold assignment, since I did so well on my quiz. You select the option that you want to do, and you can proceed. And it will take me to that silver assignment. And you can see now, because I chose the silver pathway, it has unlocked the silver, assignment, but it has not unlocked the gold assignment. If I want to unlock the gold, now that I've chosen the silver pathway, I need another quiz here to unlock the gold. If I had chosen the gold from the beginning, then I would not be able to see the silver unless I made it a condition of the gold quiz. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I have not completed this module, so I'm going to go ahead and view the silver assignment, since that is also a requirement. It's an empty assignment. And now I've completed silver. Forgot to show the badge for the bronze module. But at this point, the student will be able to see their silver badge being rewarded to them, and then they can proceed. At this point, it would proceed to show the gold badge if they hit next, but they will not be able to get the gold badge because they chose the silver pathway. I'm going to go back home. You see I've had 2 grades recorded, one for the branching quiz, one for the bronze quiz. And I've unlocked the silver pathway, which is adequate for me to proceed to the next virtual module of the course. All right, 2 concerns about this structure, 2 things to be aware of is A, grading. Whenever you're dealing with Mastery Pass, there's going to be potential points which the student is not able to access unless they work through all 3 levels of the Mastery Path. There are ways to work around this by forcing the student to take only one level of the Mastery Path, or by counting the gold as extra credit assignment, for example. But that's something you need to be aware of. Typically, they recommend not having any graded assignments along the Mastery Path. Nothing that contributes to the final course grade, just because it makes it simpler. Whatever you choose to do with grading, you're just going to have to be very intentional that this creates a potential problem if not kept in check. The second concern, I'm going to go ahead and leave the student view, is that with this setup, there is still nothing to prevent the student from just going ahead and proceeding to Module 2 without following any of these pathways. You can see I can add Module 2 and make a prerequisite. I can make Module 1 a prerequisite, that's fine. They have to complete Module 1, but they can still skip Module 1A, 1B, 1C if they wish and go straight to Module 2. If I make Silver Pathway a prerequisite, then they will only be able to proceed to Level 2 if they complete the Silver Pathway. So I'd have to rearrange my course rules to force them to complete Silver. They would no longer have the option of completing Gold unless I added a second layer of quizzing. The only way the student can progress is by completing the Silver assignment. I'm just going to make Module 1 a prerequisite. This way the student can still choose whether or not they want to complete Gold or Silver. And this is where Badgr pathways will come in handy. Mastery Pass can't quite handle this, but if we turn on Badgr pathways as part of Badgr Pro, then it could say only if they've completed bronze, only if they've completed silver or gold, then can they proceed to Module 2. But we don't have that built-in capability here. I'm going to go ahead and add Module 2. So those are the 2 things to be aware of, both grading, and we're going to need to turn on Badgr pathways before we can make progression throughout the rest of the course mandatory, that they have to follow these actual pathways that we've created for them. But otherwise, very long video, very kind of a complicated setup, but now you know how to do it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.